They talk about the middle class. They can't even define the middle class. What the hell is the middle class, ladies and gentlemen? Do you know what it is? This is a Marxian term. Classes, classes. We're Americans. We're not in a class. Rich people fall and poor people get rich. You think people are sneaking into our country because we have a class system, a bourgeois and proletariat system where people are born into wealth, which they keep forever, and people are born into poverty and they can't get out? Then why are poor people coming into this country? So many we can't keep track of them. Because Obama and his ilk, a.k.a. the Marxists, they have to paint a false picture of this nation. In other words, they want to impose a new reality on us, which is an imagined one, of a society of only rich and poor, where only the government is just, where only the government can make fair decisions, where but for the government we would starve, we wouldn't have pensions, we wouldn't have health care. Now, we know this isn't true. The government's destroying pensions and health care and income. You know, if I'm wrong, then the Founding Fathers were wrong. I mean, the left in this country today, the Obama types and so forth, what do you think they would have been doing during the American Revolution? I think they would have been defending the crown. Hey, what can we can't fend for ourselves. What's this rugged individualist crap? What's this free market, private property crap? We like being told what to do and how to do it. As long as we're part of the ruling class. What was so amazing when they met in Philadelphia and came up with the Declaration of Independence, and then they met again after the long 8.5-year Revolutionary War at the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia. So amazing. You know what was amazing about it? Those handful of men could have seized power and could have controlled the country. Those handful of men could have changed course the way Castro did in Cuba, the way all these phony liberators do when they turn to Marxism and other forms of totalitarianism. They could have done that, and yet they didn't. They worked hard, and they debated, and they fought on how best to secure our liberties and our private property. And we have one president of the United States in 2 years who's trying to wash it all away. Do you think Barack Obama and Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid and Barney Frank and John Kerry and all the rest of the freaks, do you think if they'd been at the founding that this nation would have been founded as a free nation? Where the central government would have been limited? Where private property rights would have been respected? Where the individual's rights would have been respected? Do you think this country would have started out the way that it did? No. No way. Well, look at the rich and the poor. And you know what's interesting? This rich-poor stuff, I look at these politicians. How many of them are poor? I mean, really poor. None of them. And yet they speak for the poor as if they represent them. Barack Obama hasn't been poor one day in his life. Joe Biden hasn't been poor one day in his life. Nancy Pelosi hasn't been poor one day in her life. And so forth. And they're certainly not quote-unquote middle class anymore. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's put all the talk aside for a moment. Let's look around us. Look around you. What do you see? You see misery. You see foreclosures. You see sale signs. You see people out of work. You see the currency weakening. You see inflation on the horizon. You see massive debts that your children will never be able to pay off. So forget about everything I just said. You can touch what the liberals have done. You can smell it. You can feel it. It's all around you. They are dispiriting the American people. And they're hollowing out our society.